All right, next claim. Thank you, guys. The fair tax is progressive is a claim that's made. And this one takes a little dissecting to get through. And this is probably the one that's most important to me. I think this is the most substantial difference in the fair tax system from our system. First of all, the concept of a progressive tax is measured, I think, by common understanding of most people who talk about these things as a function of your income. So there's a progressive, like for example, an income tax is progressive if the percentage of income you pay is larger as your income is higher. Then when people talk about, say, make a statement like sales tax is regressive, they're not talking about the rate of sales tax goes up as you spend more. They're talking about when you take a look at how that impacts people as a function of their income level, it means that people are going to pay less tax as a function of their income, as a percentage of their income, as they are higher income. So the concept of progressivity is by its very nature a function of income. Okay, so the claim that's being made is by looking at the fair tax and looking at it as a function of consumption and saying that you'll pay a lower percentage of your consumption as you, a higher percentage of your consumption as you pay more, which makes it progressive. And that's just, actually, it's marginally true. The only truth to it is it's a flat rate, whatever the rate would be, but there is that first bit that you don't pay any tax on from the prebate. So because of that, it's marginally progressive. It's 0% up to a certain point, and then as you get more and more income, that bit sort of phases out. So you would, if you're a mathematical person, you would approach that 23% as a limit. So you would just sort of come, the graph would go up and it would just flatten out. So it's marginally progressive if you look at it as a function of consumption. But that's not the way progressivity is measured. It's a function of income, and it's a very regressive tax as a function of income. And the reason is, the more income you have, the less percentage of your income you spend on consumption. If you had $200 million in income, you might spend $2 million this year. You wouldn't spend $200 million. But if you have $40,000 in income, you're going to spend most, probably $35,000 to $40,000. With credit card debt, you might even spend more than that. So the lower your income level, the higher the percentage of your income would be taxed under this system. So it's essentially a regressive system. One thing it does do, though, is replace our Social Security system, which is actually even more regressive than the fair tax, because it's capped. So you pay on a certain income to a point, and then you don't pay anything on part of it. That is probably the most regressive tax, and it's sort of a quid pro quo idea. You know, you put in and you get out based on what you put in.
What is it, 150,000 that you stop, or 250 years?
It's changed, and I'm a CPA, but I don't do individual tax work, so people always ask me questions about individual tax, and I don't really follow that much. But yeah, and it's different for the old age survivor and disability than it is for Medicare. So I'm not sure exactly what the number.
If you're making 150 or more, you don't pay. You just pay a certain amount in.
I think actually the Medicare may not be capped anymore, and that's a 2% of the 7%, or so it's some smaller portion. The larger portion is capped at 90, something like that.
Okay.
Something. Yeah, and it changes. So, but it's about that. So anyway, that system is regressive, but it generates a lot less of our income than the income tax system, which is progressive. So the net effect of the fair tax would be to go towards regressivity because it replaces our progressive income tax and the estate tax.
Why do they even claim it for it? Why do they say?
Why do they claim that it's progressive? Because they claim it's progressive because they want to hide the fact that it's regressive. I guess is probably the straightforward answer. But the way that they claim it is by looking at it as a function of consumption, which I think is just not the appropriate way to